Yo, good morning, guys. What up? What up? Good morning. How's it going, everyone? So, for the article, I know I promised I would get it done today, guys, but this is the biggest article I've ever done for the Grove. It's going to be massive. I mean, this thing is, I hope that I can get it through it all in one stream. Just because it's literally that big. Like this article I cover, I cover pretty much the lore of every single region, but the goal of the article is that I'm going to go through an adventure survival guide for the realm of Runeterra. I'm ranking the regions from the safest sanctuaries to certain doom, and I rank them all from like the safest areas to areas that are not so safe. And I go through the lore and why exactly these places are or are not safe. So I'll go through those with you guys. I hope tomorrow. I'm definitely more than halfway through the article, but yeah, it's pretty long. Is the problem? Danger zones. So yeah, it's just taking me a while to finish this one. I don't think I'm gonna choose ambitious topics like this for future Riot Grove lore articles. So let me pull it up. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna stick to less ambitious articles in the future, so that we can, have. I liked being able to talk through some lore every single day. These ones are smaller articles, and that one I hope I can get through it in one stream. That's how long it's gonna be. But in the meantime, I thought it'd be really cool if we went through the story that really made me respect Garen. I mean, this is the story that I felt like where I read it and I was like, you know what? Maybe Garen's not a cuck. Honestly, at first glance, I was always like, Garen's like too much of a goody two-shoe. Really. Like, Darius got way more of my respect. I was like, Darius doesn't care about anything. He's just a beast. Go through anyone. You see him fighting the Order of Shadow in a cinematic. Darius just felt like, I understand the Darius and Garen rivalry, but I was always on Darius's side. And I always supported. I was like, I like Darius more. Until one story. There was one story that I was like, damn. Garen's kind of, I wouldn't mess with Garen anymore. And it's the Soldier and the Hag. And we can go through that now, or we can get into a little bit of the Doom bots and then go through it. I think, you know what? I kind of want to go through it now with people that are here early. I think the people that are here early definitely are one of the most lore intense fans, and then we'll do some Let's Play with Doom bots. So let's do it. Let's do it. The Soldier and the Hag. I'm going to do my best to give this story justice, and then I want to talk to you guys about it. Let me make this bigger. That's good, I think. Yeah. All right. The music's a bit loud, though. I'm going to lower it. Maybe to like 20. Yeah, I just want it in the background. Okay. The Soldier and the Hag. This is Garen's color story. The old woman pulled the rope taut around the Demacian soldier's throat. He'd attempted to speak, which was forbidden by the rules she had laid out. One more infraction and she'd have the right to slice the head from his shoulder and use his widow-peaked helm as a chamber pot. Until then, she could only tighten her grip, hope, and watch as the tendrils of memory leaked from his head into hers. Of course, she could just decapitate him whenever she wished, but that wouldn't be proper. Much could be said of the gray-skinned seer, but nobody could say she didn't live by a code, by a set of rules. And without rules, where would the world be? In disarray? That's where. Simple as that. Until he broke those rules, she would sit here, siphoning away everything he had. His joy, his memories, his identity, until she was done with him. And then, slice, chamber pot. A voice screamed out in pain somewhere near the entrance of her cave. One of her sentinels, no doubt. Then another scream, and another. Tonight was shaping up to be very interesting. She could tell he was an unyielding fellow, but the persistent slamming of his heavy boots onto the wet cave floor announced his long approach. When the echoing steps finally fell silent, a handsome, broad-shouldered man stared at her from across the cavern, the look of grim determination on his face illuminated by the den's dim torches. Revolutes of blood dripped down his breastplate. Even from the back of the room, she could smell something sour in his armor, some sort of acidic tang that calmed the magic flowing through her veins in a way she did not like. This would be an interesting night, indeed. The knight, broadsword in hand, ascended the stone steps to the old woman's makeshift rock throne. She smiled, waiting for him to haul the blade up and bring it screaming down in her head. He'd be in for quite the surprise once he did. Instead, she sheathed the sword and sat on the ground. Instead, he sheathed the sword and sat on the ground. Wordlessly, he stared into the old woman's eyes, patiently holding her gaze. He did not break their connection, even to flick his eyes in the direction of the leashed shoulder at her side. Was this a ploy to throw her off? Was he trying to wait her out, make her talk first? Most likely. Still, this was boring. "Do you know who I am?" the woman asked. "You feed off the memories of the lost and the abandoned. Children say you are as old as the cave you inhabit. You are the Lady of Stones," he said with confidence. "Ha! That is not what they call me, and you know it. Rock hag. That's what they say. Afraid I'd smite you if you used that name, eh? Trying to butter me up?" she coughed. "No," the man replied. "I just thought it was a rude name. It's impolite to insult someone in their home." The old seer chuckled until she realized he wasn't joking. "And yours?" she asked. "What are you called?" "Garen Crownguard of Demacia." "Here are the rules, Garen Crownguard of Demacia," she said. "You have come for your lost soldier, correct?" The man nodded. "Do you intend to kill me?" the woman asked. "I cannot lie. I think it likely that either you or I will die." "Yes," he replied. The woman chuckled. "Eager to spill my blood, are you? Maybe you'd even succeed with that armor." She coiled the rope, squeezing the soldier's neck tighter around her ancient hand. "Still, if you raise your sword against me before our dealings are through, I will put this so quickly, you'll hear this. I will pull this so quickly, you'll hear the snap of his neck echo in your mind for the rest of your days." She yanked the leash taut for emphasis. Garen's gaze remained unflinchingly focused on her eyes. "So the rules. If you can give me a single memory I find more delicious than the accumulated memories in this one's mind," she said, flicking the prisoner's helmet, "I will take it from you and give you him." She watched Garen's eyes closely. Now for any hint of doubt. "If you cannot, well..." She tightened her grip on the soldier's leash. "Should either of us attempt to renege on our deal, the other is entitled to take repayment however they wish, with no resistance. Do you agree?" "I do," he said. "Then let me hear your opening offer. What is this soldier's life to you?" "Apologies for my rudeness. I'd referred to him by name, but I've forgotten it already," she said. I do not know his name either. He joined my battalion only recently, Garen replied. She frowned at the young man. He clearly did not know what he was getting into. I offer a memory, he said, from childhood. My sister and I astride my uncle's back as he barked like a Noxian drakehound. We laughed for many hours. It is a good memory, unsullied by what would later happen to him at the hands of one like you. The old woman scratched at the gelatinous film on her eye. You do me disrespect, she said. You think to trade me a joyous memory, as if that is all I savor. She cupped the soldier's head in her hand and released the wisps of memories flowing into her minds from his. I want everything. The pain, the confusion, the anger. Keeps me looking young. She laughed, haggling and twisting, dragging and twisting her fingers across her wrinkled cheek. I offer my grief then, at my uncle's death, Garen said. Not good enough. You bore me, said the Lady of Stones, and pulled tighter on the leash. Garen sprang to his feet and unsheathed his sword. The hag's heart leapt at the thought of killing the impatient young knight. But instead of attacking, he dropped to one knee, lowered his head before her, and gently placed the tip of the blade on her lap, pointing toward her midsection. Search my mind, he said. Take whatever memory you wish. I am young, but I have seen much and experienced a life of privilege that you might find pleasurable. Should you try to take more than one memory, of course, I will push this sword through you. Any single memory is yours for the keeping. The woman could not help but cackle. The arrogance of this boy. He had the nerve to think one of his memories would outweigh the lifetime she could absorb from his colleague. His courage, or arrogance, was unquestionable. One had to respect it. Smacking her lips, she leaned over and placed her palms upon his head. She closed her eyes and peeled back the layers of his mind. She saw triumph at the Battle of Whitrock. She tasted Librock roast at his lieutenant's wedding's feast. She felt a lonely tear fall as he held a dying comrade on the fields of Brashmore. And then she saw his sister. She felt his intense love for her, mixed with something else. Fear? Disgust? Discomfort? She pushed deeper into his mind, past his conscious memories. Her fingers probed his thoughts, pushing aside anything unrelated to the golden-haired girl. With a big smile, his armor made the search far more difficult than it would have otherwise been. But the old woman persisted until childhood. The two of them playing with toy figures. His soldiers charge her mages, ready to slaughter them. She tells him it isn't fair. They have magic. It should be an even fight. He laughs and knocks her clay mages over, batting them aside with his metal crusaders. Upset, the girl shouts, and suddenly there is light shooting from her fingertips, and he is blinded and confused and frightened. She is taken away by their mother. But before their mother leaves the room, she kneels and tells the boy that he didn't see what he thought he saw. It wasn't real, just a game. The boy, his mouth agape, nods. Just a game. His sister is not a mage. She couldn't be. He pushes the memory as deep as it could go. Stretching her fingers, the old woman finds more and more memories like this spread amongst the knight's childhood, each ending in a blinding splay of light. Buried deep, cacophonies, mixtures of love, fear, denial, anger, betrayal, protectiveness. The knight had not been wrong. These were good memories. Far far juicier than those provided by the broken man. She smiled. The knight had been clever, putting his sword to her stomach. But he wasn't clever enough. Once she took a memory, he would forget he ever possessed it. She could take whatever she wanted. Branching her fingers, she sifted through his memories, searching for anything involving the Girl of Light. She snatched up every single one she found before pulling out of his mind. "Yes," she said, opening her eyes. This will do." She pointed at the cave's exit. "Your bargain is accepted. A single memory for a single life. Take the boy and leave at once." Garen stood and moved to the leashed soldier. He bent down, helping the soldier up, and began to walk backward out of the cave, never once looking away from her. Quaint. He was worried she might break the deal. Poor thing didn't realize she already did. The knight had stopped. The knight stopped. He dropped his companion to the ground and charged, his eyes still locked on hers. The old woman thrilled at his impetuous attempt. He was too big, too lumbering, too slow to ready his cumbersome sword before she would descend upon him. Her fingertips crackled with dark energy, thirsting to drink in more of his mind. But she couldn't take her eyes off of his. In them, she saw the years of Lucius' memories she would feast upon until there was nothing left to. She saw the years of luscious memories she would feast upon until there was nothing left to. She felt something cold inside of her, something metal. The sour tang of the knight's armor stronger than ever now, tickling the back of her throat. The hag looked down to see Garen's sword jutting from her breast, stains of red and black seeping from the wound, dripping onto the knight's gauntlets as he stared steadfast into her fading eyes. He was faster than she thought. "Why?" she tried to say, only to cough up a mouthful of black bile. "You lied," he answered. The hag smiled, acidic tar bubbling between her teeth. "How'd you know?" "I felt lighter, unburdened," Garen replied. He blinked. "It didn't feel right. Give them back." She thought for a moment as her blood mixed into the mud of the cold cave floor. The hag's fingers went numb as she placed them on Garen's skull, forcing the memories back into his mind. He gritted his teeth with pain, and when he opened his eyes, she could tell from their wariness that he'd gotten everything he wanted. The poor fool. "Why even bother with the trade?" the old woman asked. "You are stronger than I thought. Much stronger. Leash or no, you could have sliced me to ribbons before I'd lifted a finger. Why bother letting me into your mind at all?" To draw fresh blood in a stranger's home without giving them a chance would be impolite, the hag cackled. "Is the Demacian rule?" "A personal one," Garen said, and pulled the sword out of the hag's chest. Blood gushed from the open wound, and she slumped over, dead. He didn't spare her another look as he picked the soldier up and began their long march back to Demacia. And without rules, he thought to himself, where would the world be? And that's the story that made me respect Garen. And again, guys, we're going to finish I should be done with the article that I've been working on for days now. That's way longer than I expected. We're just going to go up on Endgrove Lore Library. Hopefully today, we'll go through it tomorrow. I think that one's going to take all day. I hope you guys like it. It's taking a lot of work, that one. But yeah, we're going to choose smaller topics in the future for these articles just because I want to be able to go through a Lore Library article with you guys every day. If you like this, me reading through a story that I really like, The Soldier and the Hag, my favorite story for Garen, one of my favorites in Demacia, let me know and we can, go through more of these in the future. And I wanted to play Doombots. If you guys want to do a Let's Play, if anyone wants to play Doombots with me, I am down. So just log on and let me know in chat somewhere. And I'll add you. Oh, I was only able to view Twitch chat for that. So if you were messaging in any of the other chats, I couldn't see it. Not intentional, I wasn't clicked on multi-stream. So if anyone chats now, I should be able to see it. I hope that didn't mess up my story. That would suck. Or was it stuck for League of Legends? That's where it stuck. Hello, what's with the sound? Hopefully it's good now. Let me know if it's good now. I want it to be good before we go through the motion comic. So let me know. I'm gonna make this much bigger. Let me know if the music's good, guys. I'm gonna remove that. Ask me about Runeterra lore too, so you guys can see the full comic. Good. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Okay, guys, I'm really excited. I had what a freaking treat this morning. I had no idea that we were gonna be going through this motion comic. I'm pretty hype. I'm gonna make it as big as possible so you guys can see it really well. Okay, I think that's as big as I can get it. And I mean, I don't know what to do for you guys on mobile. If you guys are watching on like the portrait view, I mean, that's decent. At least you can see it a little bit. I don't know how to make it any better. I can duplicate it and make it vertical, I guess, for you guys, but I don't know. We could try that. Rotate. I don't want to mess this up. That's the thing. I'm just going to leave it. I mean, vertical. I have been waiting since yesterday. Yeah, I didn't know this came out, so I'm really excited. All right, let's do it. Enter the motion comic, The Truth. Man, what is going on with this? The freaking portrait. I don't know who the heck this is. That must be the Darken. But he does not look Darken. He looks like he's still very much in his ascended form, close to. He looks very Shuriman. We know all the Darken, right? We're ascended god warriors from Shurima. This guy does not look Darken at all, other than the red on his eyes. Like a lot of the Darken are very corrupted by blood magic and whatnot. So this guy, I mean, this guy looks great. He looks like just an ascended bird, hawk thing. So I'm excited. Enter motion comic. I'll hire it a little bit too for you guys. Get that up to like 60 for in-game sound. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I'm hype. I'm hype. I'm not spoiling anything. Do not. And please, the story so far. After many years, spirit blossoms have returned to Ionia. And also, curiously, to other regions of Runeterra. Sinjao, the loyal seneschal of Demacia, arrived with a blossoming foreign sapling, hoping to learn more about the wild blooms of old. He met Master Kennen of the Kinku Order, who invited him to their temple at Koshin. But the veil between realms had thinned, and monstrous demonkind attacked the nearby port town. Xin Zhao found himself fighting alongside a new ally, the tech-to-turn Kinku, Yunara. Though they were victorious, there was no time to celebrate. Alarm bells rang out from the hidden Temple of Twilight in the mountains above Koshin. Though his spear had been broken in battle, Xin Zhao did not hesitate to go with Kennen and Yunara, only to be struck by sudden horrifying visions of Demacia in ruins. Once again, he faces an impossible choice and must consider where his heart and loyalty lie. So again, this is crazy because now this really puts everything in timeline and perspective. We remember that one cinematic where the new ARAM cinematic, and then all of a sudden, that's exactly when the alarm bells sound at the demon kind attacking a port town. That summons in Yunara's temple. We know that that's where he plants that wild bloom, which was near where Mr. Kennen took him, the Temple of Koshin. They were victorious, and then the alarm bells rang out, the hidden Temple of Twilight in the mountains, and that's when he gets this vision, which I really think is from LeBlanc, that, go to these Demacian ruins and whatnot. I think all of this visions and everything that's been pushing him has been LeBlanc, pushing him to Ionia to plant that wild bloom, to pull in the temple. So, this is the spear had been broken in battle. Xin Zhao did not hesitate to go with Ken. Yeah, something about this battle. It looks like his loyalty. He's thinking about going back to Demacia. Maybe LeBlanc wants him to go back there. Let's see. I want to hire it for you guys.
The temple bells still ring out. Xin Zhao,
I'm hiring
we
the wrong
must
thing.
move quickly. Xin Zhao?
I saw Demacia in ruins. How can this be?
Yunara, what has happened?
He says he experienced a dark vision. Master Kennen, if the temple has been breached and...
I have seen you both seek to preserve the secrets of the Kinku Order. Such is your duty, and I am not one of you. But I must know, what kind of enemy can reach inside my mind and taunt me with scenes from my own worst nightmares? Speak now, or I shall go no further.
Can he be trusted?
We fought side by side against the Demonkin. His heart is good. Our enemies are his, also.
Very well, Xin Zhao of Rykon. What do you know of the Darkin?
The Darkin? They are beasts of the world before. Monsters that tempted the brave and the foolish alike with untold power. The Demacians believe that their winged protectors defeated one soon after the Rune Wars. Only then were the children of Orlan safe. Or so the myth tells.
Indeed. Stories are important. They remind us who we are and where we belong. Sometimes they are the only way to make sense of this world, and the horrors we would sooner forget. Yunara knew this all too well, and in turn, Ionia remembers her in their stories.
What? How?
You know the tale of the devoted Shrine Maiden, Xin Zhao. But now, you should hear the story behind it.
This was no fairy tale. Our people were dying. We did not know why the Darkin came here, but they had amassed many followers, and set Ionia at war with itself. Koshin was the last Kinku stronghold, and seemed soon to fall. Some of us prayed to the shrine spirits for deliverance, and that was when he came to us. I had only ever known the gods of the Third Lands as our enemies. Until the day I saw one of them rout an entire army, single-handed. He told us his name was Zehen. His kind were once praised as heroes, noble paragons of their Sun Empire. And yet, he had witnessed their fall from the light into darkness. Leaderless and lost, war between the Darkin became inevitable. They had ravaged an entire continent before spilling over into the rest of the known world. Ionia was just another battleground among many. Zehen could stand by no longer. He felt responsible, I think. He had already slain several of his brothers and sisters. He would do so again, if needed. Though each death broke his immortal heart a little more. There was something remarkably human in that. Even so, we had no guarantee this was not some trick, a plot among the Fallen Ones to finally destroy the Kinku Order and subjugate all of Ionia. But there was little alternative. Zehen's offer of alliance was put to the Eye of Twilight. With this pact sealed, our fates became as one. For almost 3 years, we fought the Invader Gods back. With the arcane knowledge Zehen brought from Shurima, we were able to cast some of them down and bind them into their accursed weapons. None went quietly. I studied the rage and wrath of each Darkin cornered, with good reason. As the Fist of Shadow, I would have to eliminate Zehen if he attempted to betray us. When the war was over, we returned in victory. At Koshin's Peak, in the hidden temple where the Kinku had watched the stars for millennia, the Eye would pass her judgment. Many considered him the most dangerous Darkin of all. Yet he had honored our alliance, and helped save the First Lands. He would be allowed to go in peace. But something had changed in Zehen. He could feel his humanity ebbing away, and feared what he might eventually become capable of. And so he asked to be bound like the others, hidden away where no mortal could easily find him. The Temple of Twilight was cast into the spirit realm, and I pledged to stand guard over it, for all time.
I see now. You were the Shrine Maiden who followed the Great Spirit into exile.
I know nothing about that.
And that troubles me. Forgive my ignorance, but what purpose is served by allowing Ionia's history to become shrouded in myth?
We do not have time for this. The Kinku had to help the people recover from the Great Darkin War. Better to let them remember a wholesome fable than the painful truth.
Someone knows the truth. The Azakana spirits were a distraction to lure me away from my post. They mean to free Zehen. Master Kennen and I must go. You should return to your ship, Xinjiao, and warn the people of Demacia that the Darkin have returned.
No. This is not the Kinku's fight alone. The Darkin are a threat to all the peoples of this world. I will do everything I can to keep this Zehen imprisoned where he should be. But I will do so in service to Demacia and my king.
Good enough. Let us be swift as the wind.
Master Kennen! By all the spirits, I'm glad you've returned. Where is the Eye of Twilight?
Grandmaster Shen is still far, far away. Neither he nor Mayim will reach Koshin in time. Instead, I will lead all our acolytes into the temple and...
That is the problem. The hidden temple was here, but now it is gone again. Drawn back to the spirit realm.
No.
What does this mean?
That place has always been the Eye's domain, while beyond the Veil, it is protected by...
The trials of Twilight. Then we cannot enter in force. Usually 1, 2 at most, or we risk being rejected. Yunara, Xinjiao, I can open the way between realms for you, but I must remain outside if you hope to return afterward. And your fine spear must be repaired. Summon a woodweaver.
What are these trials, Yunara? Why must I remove my Demacian plate?
We will be tested by the temple itself, to see if our spirits are strong and our intentions honorable. The steel of your Third Land's armor dulls the magic around it. This will not work.
And the pageantry is gaudy, to say the least. Our supplies are limited, but I believe we can find you something more suitable. The woodweaver will see to the rest.
Come. They are waiting.
Well, Xinjiao of Raikon indeed.
Master Kennen, I am ready. And my sapling?
The tree is young, but its spirit is strong. I feel the connection between you. Give me your hand.
Such wondrous magic. Such beauty.
This is not magic. It is life. When you understand that, the spirit will always deliver.
I am honored by this gift. May the spirit of the tree be blessed in return. Demacian roots in Ionian soil. The two as one.
This is it. Do not stray from the path. Yunara, you know what to do. Duela kakunme hai fun.
What? No, it cannot be. This is the Visceral, the ship where I served as a boy. I cannot be here. Yunara and I must face the trials of Twilight together.
Calm yourself, old friend.
Ouyang? Then...
This was where it all started. The moment your life changed forever. And your trial has already begun.
Ooh. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, normally I would just rewatch the whole thing multiple times like a freaking degenerate that I am for lore. We're gonna go through. I mean, I don't want it to like autoplay again, so I can go through myself now.
The temple bells still ring out.
Autoplay off.
Xinjiao, we must move quickly.
Dialogue volume. I don't know if I want to have the dialogue on because I'm gonna go through this pretty slow now. Hey, if you want to go over the details, Skin Spotlights uploaded the whole comic in video form. Yeah, they're always freaking early on that. They're like the day before this even goes live. Skin Spotlights puts up the video. But I mean, we're good here. I've got it on my, and then plus I don't want to have to click through on the video. I'd rather click through here. So let's do We can leave the dialogue maybe. So the temple bells still ring out. Xin Zhao, we must move quickly. So first, let's go back to the very beginning. So and I want to actually shrink this down a little bit. Actually, I can just pull it up here. So let's do this. YouTube. Okay. So there's a couple of cinematics that I want to pull up for League of Legends that are really relevant to what we just saw. And then, you know, it'll play out after that. So let's go to League of Legends. There's a couple here. I want to keep it small though, so we can flip back and forth between the comic, because there's a lot that I want to cover with you guys. Where is the first one? Where's the ARAM? Oh, right here. New battlefield. Okay. So it says right here. Hold on. Okay. Let me switch between these quickly. I'll just alt-tab between them. Okay. Xin Zhao, loyal Central Demacia, arrived in the blossoming foreign sapling, hoping to learn more about the wild blooms. We know all that. He met Master Kennen of the Kinku Order, who invited him to their temple at Koshin. So that was from the previous comic. But the veil between realms had thinned, and monstrous demon kind attacked the nearby port town. Xin Zhao found himself fighting alongside a new ally, the tactician Kinku, Yunara. Now, either the freaking demon are way more coordinated than we're originally led to believe, or someone is using something or somehow controlling all these demons to coordinate this brilliant play of a move. Because you got to remember that Yunara was already protecting in the spirit realm that darkened weapon from a lot of times Azakana, the spirit realm that contains a lot of demons. And the demons seemed very interested in the darkened weapon. They were drawn to it, just like a moth to a flame. Now, Yunara enters with the temple right here. And I really believe that the wild bloom that Xin Zhao brought, which LeBlanc knows about because she says here, LeBlanc knows about and says you were doomed the moment you left Demacia. So she knows why he left Demacia, and it was part of her plan. And you can see the pink roses here changing to red. Oh, you guys can't hear. Sorry. Let me fix that. Browser. I want you to be able to hear that too. So, okay.
And the black rose rises.
The blossoms fall and the black rose rises.
Do you feel like the heroes
It's still a little loud.
of this story? Coming to save the day.
Yeah.
You're pawns in a game that's already been decided. You will fight.
Yeah. You were doomed the moment you left Demacia. It says that later.
As good soldiers do. And entered my world.
Yeah.
And doomed the moment you left Demacia.
That's what I want to show you guys. She says, you were doomed the moment you left Demacia. So LeBlanc freaking knows everything. She's a part of this. She has a demon in her possession in the form of Atakan. And then somehow, right, the exact spot where Xin Zhao plants the spirit blossom is where this temple gets pulled in. And somehow, literally right after this temple gets pulled in, a demon shows up, lures Xin Zhao down to this port city, and Yunara is right there to try to stop him and help him out fighting all these demons. And if you played that event, there was a lot of demons that Xin Zhao and Yunara had to fight. Remember that in-game event that was going on? So there was a lot of demons attacking. So how coordinated of them? And then all of a sudden, during that time, so they end up beating them, whatever. And during that time, somehow, the temple also disappears. Right now, at the beginning, the temple is there. You can see it.
Xin Zhao, we must move quickly.
Autoplay off.
Xin Zhao.
Let's do dialogue volume 0. I saw Demacian ruins. Maybe we'll leave it on, actually.
Ruins? How can this be?
Okay, so that was clearly given to him by someone.
No. What has happened?
That vision.
He says he experienced a dark vision.
Yeah, he says, but the Master Kennen, if the temple has been breached and I have seen both seek to preserve the secrets of the Kinku Order, such as your duty, and I am not one of you. So this vision was clearly given to him by someone. And it's crazy that everything lines up so perfectly to get Yunara out of this temple. And then they give Xin Zhao this vision to make him almost want to maybe basically leave. Like the goal of that vision we can see here, at least it's implied, that the vision was to get rid of Xin Zhao, to get him away from this area. So now, and why? Probably because of this. Speak now or I shall go no further. They explain the whole story. This is important, but like not super relevant to anything that we didn't already know. Like I understand it's a little different from the original story, but not too different. The Darkin, they were in the world before, monsters that tempted the brave, and you can remember that from there was a cinematic, still here. Cinematic, yeah, and we could see Kale and Morgana. He says the winged protectors, but that's not really the theory in Demacia. In Demacia, there's only Kale. Morgana is not a winged protector. She's like, they kind of push her to the background. And that's why Demacia's view of like justice is skewed and only half right. Because they only believe in like punishment and stuff like that and strict adherence to all laws. While Morgana is the forgiveness side. So they only think of Kale in this story, which is why in the mural, Morgana doesn't really show up. But you could see like this exact scene playing out. There's Morgana, there's Kale. Yeah, and they beat a Darkin host, someone who's hosted by Aatrox. But in the mural, you don't really see Morgana. Morgana's kind of hidden. You can see her chains, but you don't actually see Morgana. It's just Kale there. And just Morgana's chains are appearing. And he says the winged protectors, but again, the winged protectors in Demacia, it's just Kale. So the story has been skewed. After the Rune Wars, only then were the children of Orlan safe. Or so the myth tells. And then you know the tale of Devoted Shrine Maiden ends up being a little bit different than what we were originally told. So originally it was like he deceived her and stuff like that, and he pretended to be a like benevolent Akana spirit. That didn't really happen. He showed up as a freaking beast. There was no fairy tale. Our people were dying. This is the Darkin War in Ionia, also known as the War of the First Kami. We did not know who the Darkin came, but they had amassed many followers and set Ionia at war with itself. And I don't know who this Darkin is. We've never seen this Darkin before, but you can see his Shurima-style blade there. So this is, and the Darkin did amass many followers, and these are some of the Darkin's followers that he's amassed. But we've never seen this Darkin before. I hope he becomes like a Legends of Runeterra card at least. There are only 5 Darkin left, I'm pretty sure. Zahan is the last one. Zahan, I don't think, well, you're talking about like out in the world? Because there's a ton of Darkin. I mean, I don't know if you, like, I don't know if you know this, but I'll show you this, like Legends of Runeterra Darkin. Actually, I think I have my, let me pull up my, because I don't think, do they have it all in one? Oh yeah, they do here. Okay, Legends of Runeterra Darkin. These are all Darkin that were in prison. There's Belcox, he's within a Bandle weapon. There's the Darkin Harpoon, Iberos. Jorel's imprisoned in a shield in Demacia. Anaka's in the Spirit Realm. Well, probably the Beachwalker's in the Spirit Realm. I think Anaka is in the Freljord. Harazi is entrapped in like a star metal type stone, probably near Targon. Solani the Bloodweaver is a massive one. She's in Ionia. Neganeka's in Noxus. Striatu's in the Sumps of Zon, where the Chirian are. Rost, obviously. So there are a lot of Darkin, more than just the characters that we're aware of. Right? There's a couple that we're aware of, like the player characters. You know, you got Aatrox and all these guys. But there are a lot of Darkin. Let me, yeah, there are a lot of Darkin. So more than we're led to believe at the beginning. But that's a new one. Now we got another one. If you want to go over the detail skin, hey, I'm a digital artist helping. Yeah, thanks, Evan Smith. I mean, if you want to send me over the free stuff, I'm up for it. I just don't have anything to pay you with. So if you want to donate to the stream, that'd be great. They did my boy Shen dirty on this one. Why? He was off doing something else. We don't know. I'll get to the Shen part. Well, I'll get to the Shen part for sure. I would have loved to see him appear in this comic, though. I think it's his time to show up. Damn, never knew there was Darkin and Zahn. Look, when we're talking about Darkin, I'm gonna tell you guys this: the freaking the aspects of Targon screwed us over so many times in so many ways. It's ridiculous. Okay, look at this. This Darkin here. Striatu. As the Targonians pondered where they should scatter the Darkin weapons, one of their kind suggested the lands that would become known as Zahn. Buried deep within the walls of the cavernous and winding passageways would be perfect, they assumed, far from human reach, but not Chirian. Striatu burst from the processing plant, furious and impatient. Her rage was known even before the tendrils of madness found their way into her mind. But now she would make them all pay. First in this land of technology, then south, where she would war alongside her general once again. They kill an entire city of Chirian, these poor freaking Chirian, because these Targonians, they teach the mortals to entrap all these Darkin in the weapons, then they scatter them all over Runeterra, the morons. The stupidest thing you could possibly do. Just scatter the Darkin weapons all over Runeterra? Are you insane? What silly people. What silly people. The Targonians, I swear, the aspects are like the worst thing that could ever happen to Runeterra. They will be our downfall. We're going to fight them in the Riot MMO. What a horrible group. As I'm pretty sure all those Darkin you see in the cards were from before and current. There are only 5 remaining Darkin. I don't think that's the case, unless it's been retconned. Yeah, I've never heard that there's only 5 remaining Darkin. There's the Darkin that we have in League of Legends, and there's Darkin in Legends of Runeterra. I've never heard that they retconned all the Darkin. What's up, man? What a news about MMO. Sorry, I came later today to watch the video. Yo, nothing, I mean, no new roles or anything on the MMO. So right now we're just going through the lore. And now we have another Darkin. This guy, though, is dead, but we've never seen him before. Some of us prayed to the shrine spirits for deliverance, and that was when he came to us. So they prayed to the shrine spirits for deliverance, and that was when he came to them. It's never stated that he pretended to be a shrine spirit or like a benevolent spirit, a Kana or whatever. I had only ever known the gods of the Third Lands as our enemies. Now that's really interesting. So she's saying that the gods of the Third Lands. So we know Ionia. Ionia is the first lands because it existed, first. It was the first lands where everyone came from, and the Great Westward Diaspora is when everyone migrated to these different areas. Now, I think we know the Third Lands is Shurima. So what would be the second lands? Could it be Targon? Because Targon, we know it was like from a very long time ago, the Targonians that were involved in putting the crown on Aurelian's soul and entrapping him, right? Does anyone know like where the second lands are? Is it Targon? If it's not Targon, maybe it's like the Noxus area, Noxus Demacia. I feel like that would be way later. If anything, the second lands is going to be either Bilgewater with the Buhru people, the Freljord, or Targon. One of those 3. The Freljord also has some really ancient lore with Lysandra. Maybe the second lands is the Freljord, because that would make more sense. The first lands, the Freljord, the second lands, then maybe Targon. Because how are you going to get from Ionia? You're going to skip all this land on water and go to Targon? That doesn't make sense to me. So I think that the Freljord. Yeah, Riot Dev clearly the only handful of Darkin are left, and trapped into the weapons, only 5 after the war. Yeah, where is that though? That'd be pretty silly to just retcon all the Legends of Runeterra Darkin, because that's great lore, and adds so many characters. Yeah, let me know like did they tweet it out or something? Because if they did, I hope they change that, because these are great Darkin characters and raid boss potential for the Riot MMO. Striatu, Harazi. You don't have to carry through Zolani the Bloodweaver's story, right? Where she becomes this god that almost destroys Runeterra, and the rune, and Rise literally has to use a rune to save it. It can start with all of them entrapped in their weapon, and we never explore that timeline. But Iberos, Balcox, these are great Darkin characters. So If they retconned it, they should unretcon it as soon as possible. I like to think the second lands would be Camivore and the neighbors of it. Ooh. Look at you. Stretching beyond the map. Okay. Yeah, that's true. You could have Camivore and be the second lands as well. If we look at the Camivore map from Ruined King. Right here, this is like the best one that we could see with a lot of yeah, we can see a lot of like this is Camivore over here with the independent lands underneath, and then over here on the left you see Shurima and Valoran, and there's Ionia. So it makes sense that maybe they could take a boat over across the sea to Camivore. Instead of going left, they go right. So that could be the second lands, but then, you know, and then the third lands being Shurima, like someone takes a boat down there. It could also be, what makes the most sense logically, I wouldn't even think Shurima would be the third lands. I thought Shurima would be like the fifth lands or something like that. But third lands, so Ionia could also be then the Buhru people, the second lands. Shurima be the third lands, because that makes sense, like little skip. Or Ionia, Freljord, and then down to Shurima. Something like that. It's interesting though. So we know Shurima is considered the third lands in Ionia. I like them to say, yeah, the second lands being Camivore is an interesting one. I like that. If I had only known the gods in the third lands as our enemies. This guy looks awesome. Until the day I saw one of them rout an entire army single-handed. He looks so cool. He told me his name was Zahan. His kind were once praised as heroes, noble paragons of the Sun Emperor. They were ascended god warriors. And yet he had witnessed their fall from the light into darkness. Leaderless and lost, war between the Darkin became inevitable. They had ravaged the entire continent before spilling over into the rest of the known world. Ionia was just another battleground among many. This is really important. Zahan could stand by no longer. He felt responsible, I think. So that is the Chalakar. The Chalakar is wielded by this character here. I think Sivir is in... Is she in Wild Rift? Let me see. Is she? No, she's not. I'll just pull her up here. Sivir, we have to go down to Shurima. Hi, yo, what up, Como? Why don't they just put Camivore on the full map? Is there not just enough lore to justify? Oh no, there's more than enough lore for Camivore in the first lands. Literally, characters tie over there. Quite a lot, actually. Let's go down to like 110. Doesn't need to be zoomed in that much. There's a ton of lore over there. I think it's just, you know, you got to remember, you guys are invested in the lore. Like everyone, pretty much everyone in my chat and in like this community for the Grove, all of us are very invested in the lore. So we know about Camivore. It's going to be an absolute shock to people when they're like, yeah, I hope you're enjoying this Realm of the Future. By the way, we're going to Camivore, you know, and then it just shows up on the world. And there's all this this whole place out there, right? Like in World of Warcraft, they always talk about the South Sea, that there's stuff in the South Sea. We hear rumors of it, but they never actually put it on the map. I think because, you know, it's good to keep things a little bit mysterious and off to the side and then bring them in later. And for the standard player who knows nothing of the lore, doesn't really look into things, Camivore is going to be a real shock. But for everyone like us who's read the Ruined King, like we can anticipate and look forward to it. So it's better that it's not. I would actually don't want to see it on the map yet. I like that it's not there. I think you can add it once it becomes an expansion in the Riot mode. When we have the Camivore expansion, then you include it. This is Sivir, and she wields the Chalakar, which is literally like an old weapon that used to be held by the person who led the leader of the Ascended God Warriors. Used to wield the Chalakar. Now, is there a Darkin in the Chalakar? Someone said maybe. Someone implied that there is. I don't actually think there is a Darkin in the Chalakar because Sivir is definitely not possessed by a Darkin. She gives no signs of that. And usually some kind of appearance appears when someone is wielding the Chalakar. But that's why he's looking at it here. Because this weapon, Zahan could stand by no longer. He felt responsible, I think. That's the Chalakar. That's the weapon that used to be wielded by the leader of the Ascended God Warriors. They might have died during the Darkin War. We don't know. That person may have just died. I forgot. I think they had a name too. They're dead. I think they're dead. I think maybe they died in the Darken War, in the Void War with Acathia, that's where all the Darken come from, guys. If you don't know that, the Void in Acathia, it wasn't always like this. Acathia was a part of Shurima. They revolted against Shurima, and then Shurima came down here, kicked their butts, including they had Ascended God Warriors, so they really kicked Acathia's butt. And Acathia thought to use the Void, to summon the Void, to counteract, like, against the God Warriors, to help them win the war. They summon the Void destroys Acathia, as well as a lot of Shurimans, including some God Warriors, and that's how Acathia ends up like this. And the way that the Ascended God Warriors in Shurima halt the Void is by an Ascended Harak going down deep underground and destroying some Void hearts and halting the Void corruption before it gets any further. And at this point, it's just stagnated down here. But the corruption already happened with the Ascended God Warriors who fought the Void, and slowly they began to lose their minds. So you can see this is like leftover in Acathia. One of the few known ways to combat the Void is to starve it. With no organic or magical sustenance nearby, the Void's material growth will slow until it eventually falls into a dormant state. And that's where we're at now. And so, yeah, the corruption happened when they fought the Void, and then over time they became Darken. Because of that. Because of the corruption from the Void from fighting it. Do the Ascended need to have blood magic to be considered Darken? No. The blood magic came actually after so they already kind of were becoming Darken from the Void. Then they began to use blood magic to further manipulate their bodies and change their appearance and become more powerful. The blood magic was used because they were Darken. Right? They all had blood magic even before. Like the Zolani had blood magic. The leader, whoever was following whoever was under Vladimir, that character. Vladimir actually served under a Darken. That's why he knows so much about them. So Vladimir served under a Darken, and his Darken leader had blood magic, and that's where Vladimir learned blood magic. But the blood magic being used in this way to manipulate their bodies and become more powerful is because they were already Darken. They were already corrupted by the Void. The Void is what made Darken Darken. The blood magic came after that. Zan, he had already slain several of his brothers and sisters. He would do so again, if needed though. Each death broke his immortal heart a little more. There was something remarkably human in that. He's an awesome Ascended, and he looks so Shuriman. And I love that we're seeing an Ascended kind of more resemble their original form before the corruption and the blood magic when Zolani kind of started using blood magic a lot with many of them. Vlad is from Camivore, right? Yeah, he is. Irvin, where you been? Where you been this whole time? Yeah, Vladimir, you're right. Vladimir is from Camivore, and he's Viego's uncle. Well, maybe not direct uncle, but if he's a relative. If so, we had no guarantee this was not some trick, a plot among the fallen ones to finally destroy the Kinku Order and subjugate all of Ionia. But there was little alternative. So apparently, this lady, who I've never seen her either, Zan offers an alliance, was put to the Eye of Twilight. The Eye of Twilight is the leader of the Kinku Order. They're called the Eye of Twilight. The current Eye of Twilight was Shen. He is the Eye of Twilight for the Kinku Order. He's the leader of the Kinku Order. And his dad was the leader before him. So I think this is him explaining what happened and what the Darken are, explaining that they were Ascended God Warriors. They followed, the wielder of the Chalakar, and then they all fell. And he's explaining to them that maybe he could be explaining to them about the Darken weapons. I'm not sure, but I really don't think Sivir is holding a Darken weapon. She's the Eye of Twilight. With the pact sealed, our fates became as one. You're almost 3 years we fought the invader gods back. Dang. This is an awesome one. With the arcane knowledge Zahan brought from Shurima, we were able to cast some of them down and bind them into their accursed weapons. So this is one of the Darken. I don't know which one this is. Apparently this one was bound within a Darken weapon. Who is that one? I recognize the helm, but it's definitely not Atakan. Atakan's helm, I think, was more from, that was more from the guy that he was fusing with. I forget the name. But yeah, that's who is this Darkin and what weapon is he being bound in? None went quietly. Another Darkin. I studied the rage and wrath of each Darkin, cornered with good reason. And there's the Darkin scythe. That looks like Rost, doesn't it? Doesn't this look like Rost? That's not his. He's wielding his weapon. Oh, that might be Rost. No, it doesn't look. Neither of these look like Rost. Rost looks like this, guys. We know how Rost looks. I can go to Legends of Runeterra. He has the same appearance in here. This is how Rost looks. Is that Rost? His helmet's way off if it is. If they're implying that this guy right here is Rost. That's Varys, Zolani, and Rost. This is not Varys. This could be Rost. It could be, but the helmet's all off. It looks really different from how we see Rost currently. Yeah, it looks nothing like him. That's not Varys. I don't know who that one is. And this one is Rost for sure. If that's what you're... That is Rost. Yeah, apparently bottom right is Zolani. That could be Zolani. That could be a Zolani. That's very speculative, but it could be. Let me see. Let's see Zolani. Zolani the Bloodweaver. The thing is, Zolani doesn't really have like a weapon. Oh, she has the... Wait, no, she does have a weapon. She has the bloodletters. What am I saying? Of course she has a weapon. She's got the bloodletters. That's these like sickle things. These two. So let's see this. That looks like a bloodletter. No, that looks like a bloodletter, the bottom right. Good call. Good call. Okay. Who's this one, guys? I got it. Zolani. Rost. And who's the other one? This one said Varys. I mean, that seems like a stretch. I don't see a bow or anything, any kind of inclination, anything showing me that that guy is Varys. The scythe is Rost for sure, yeah. He's in the wall being sealed. Oh, really? That's not Rost. That can't be. I mean, it could be. It just doesn't look like him anymore. Like, that really doesn't look like Rost to me. This looks like Rost. Like, look at the helmet. The helmet's completely different. The top right is Varys. You can see a body in the well and as they fall as well. Oh, you know what? The arms? But that's pretty common for Darkin, but I do remember a lot of the arms in Varys' cinematic. He's in the well being sealed. Varys being sealed in the well. Where's the bow, though? The top right is Varys. You can see the body in the well. In as we fall. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're right. Yeah, as we fall cinematic. Yeah, because that's the cinematic Varys as we fall. You can literally see the well right here. Oh my gosh, guys. What a good call. What a good call. Yeah. There's the hunters and there's the well. That's where Varys was sealed. Yo, that's awesome. What an awesome comic. So you're right. Okay, so Varys, Zolani, Rost. Very cool. Very cool. That's so cool. Especially, it's the first time we see Varys' like form before he was fused. So, wow. Wow. Okay. When the war was over, we returned in victory. At Koshin's Peak in the hidden temple where the Kinku had watched the stars for millennia, the Eye would pass her judgment. Many considered him the most dangerous Darkin of all, yet he had honored our alliance and helped save the First Lands. He would be allowed to go in peace. But something changed in Zahan. He could feel his humanity ebbing away and fearing what he might eventually become capable of. So he maybe was involved in the Void War with Acathia, but not as much as some of the other Ascended God Warriors. And so while he became corrupted, it wasn't as much corruption. He didn't experience as much as the Void. And so like it's taking longer for him to basically lose his mind from going